you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. Good. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be alive. We got a lot of things to discuss as always, so I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yep, always looking forward to the conversation and what the audience has today. Also joined by Mundell, man. We missed you yesterday, bro.
Yeah, man, I missed you guys too. It's good to be back, man. Just trying to get everything prepared to knock on 500,000 doors in Georgia for the runoff and also all of the text messaging.
500,000 doors in Georgia, and I know you're already over there. I'm just saying this for the sake of the audience. He's fixing his mic, folks. He knows. 500,000 doors in Georgia, and that is for. I saw a commercial by I saw Warnock's commercial last night. It was okay. It was the one where he's holding the puppy. Have y'all seen that one?
Not
I
yet.
gotta. I will pull that one up and play it. I want y'all to let's rate it. And we rate it by how many white consultants were a part of it. That's going to be our rating. Was it a one white consultant, two white consultant, or three white consultants?
Then what happened? A new ad came out.
Yeah, Raphael Warnock. Now I kind of it was a corny ad, so that kind of stuff appeals to me. I like corny shit. But I still want to know. I'll pull it up on the screen when we get done, when we get into it. But I want the audience, when more people get here, I want them to rate it. How many white consultants made it? Is one white consultant means that it's kind of bad. Two white consultants means somebody made a whole lot of money to do some raggedy shit. Three white consultants means it's the continuation, the perpetuation of white supremacy in another form. That's how we do it. All right. Um, that said, audience, be sure to share. Click that share button, like, and subscribe. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to Marco in the chat room over on YouTube. Um, Janice over on Facebook. We got people all over the place. Yeah, we're on time. We are a little early. A lot of people are like, oh, y'all on time. Y'all are early. We're just starting. We're going to try our best to start closer and closer to 8 a.m. So that our days and our
Closer
work.
and closer to 8 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, listen, y'all don't understand. This show is a black man show. You hear that, man? We'll try our best to start closer and closer 8 a.m. Yes?
That's what
That's
we're
how much
doing.
we care about y'all.
We pushing to do better. That nigga might came on so quick, like, hey, everybody.
It's time for a joke. Ain't no way I was going to miss that.
Oh man. All right. So now that everybody mics are ready and the fire alarm has stopped.
You heard
I don't
that?
honestly I don't know if it's mine. I'll be honest.
It's the chef in here. He cooking and he
Oh man, he must be tearing down in there. All right, what's on the radar? What's the first story I want to go through?
Hey, you know what? I want to continue from yesterday.
Okay.
Ben, thank you for sharing my tweet last night because it kind of went viral a little bit.
Oh, hey,
You know what I mean?
hey. What good
So
is the platform if we can't use it?
if we can't use it, and last night, as many of the Trap Squad said, I wanted to point something out, even though it's not completely true. Y'all are going to get the gist of this, and this is what I mean by that. I said, and you probably could bring it up if you want to on my page, but I
Oh, you're
said,
go
yeah,
ahead.
on Twitter that defunding the police is not a socialist idea at all.
Right.
If white folks were asking for it, it would be libertarian.
You know what? Hearing it the second time, because I read it, and I think no, I was in the middle of the show when I saw it. I was like, oh, let me tweet that, and because I knew it was gonna be something good. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't read the whole thing because I was in the middle of the show. But I'm like, I could trust that what Mark is gonna say about this. That last part, if it were white folks asking for it, it would be libertarian. That's
Right now,
exactly what it is.
and understand something. The narratives around black people are like Clyburn said, free. Y'all, we don't want nothing free. We don't want nothing. The irony of all of it is centrists want to be Republicans so bad that the quickest way to be Republican is do small government. And you know what small government is? Defunding the police. That's small government, right? So I find it ironic that if white folks were upset and mad and we didn't have this law and order, that's why we know that centrist Democrats, and I know we got news topics to cover, but I kind of want to put the nail. I want to put the nail in the coffin of why you should support defunding the police, and I think this tweet sort of says it all. If 5 million white people You know, if all the Republicans were screaming defund the police, it would be accepted as a libertarian viewpoint and something that Democrats would eventually try to lean to because they always tend to lean towards
Except
conservative.
except that part of nobody ever really not a Republican nor a Democrat actually leans into the small government part of the conservative ideology. It's only small government where they want small government. They want small government when it comes to them owning guns. They don't want small government when it comes to police and niggers.
That's right. No, absolutely not. And that's because we look at policing in America from two completely different lenses, and no one has centered African Americans yet. So as we go through this day, I also want to give a shout out to the Movement for the People's Party, because they are at this they're at a phase right now where I believe they are choosing their finalized name for what they're going to go forward with. So, and I think they have delegates. I'm not certain exactly how it works over there, but if the Democratic Party can't do it and the Republican Party won't do it, and that is center black issues, then I hope the Movement for People's Party does it, because we need some kind of organized front that actually takes a nuanced look at African Americans and African American issues. So, I mean, that's where I'm at with it. I just noticed that, the only reason Republicans and moderate Democrats are allowed to say, oh, they believe in this socialist defunding police, that is the most untrue. You can't defund anything government-wise and still be a socialist.
You can't define. That's true. Goddamn. But you know what? Okay, so shout out. That was dope. That last part really, perfectly shows you the level to which these arguments against us just don't make no damn sense, right? They don't even hold up to their own framing. Like they created a framing and a lens for us to understand their worldview, and as soon as what we had to offer was a threat to it, they betrayed their own worldview. They betrayed their own beliefs. These cats don't want they don't want small government. They have to now come to a point where they will admit that what they really want is small government for them and big government for us. So big government in terms of controlling us. They want big government for them in terms of their own corporate socialism and all the handouts they could take from the federal government. But for us, they want rugged individualism. So it's like they have this worldview that was full of shit in the first place. And now that we're exposing it, they're like, okay, well, then we're just hypocrites. And they don't care. They don't care that they don't really want small government, except for in certain cases.
Mondale, you're
muted. Sorry.
There you go.
I don't even know a case when Republicans really supported small government. If you think back to our firm, like this modern conservatism, which is Ronald Reagan and the guys who left the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party allowed black people to be seated at the table in '64, the grand exit of the Democratic Party of the racist conservatives created this new conservative party. I don't know a time where they ever wanted small government. If you think about it, these are the people, Ronald Reagan who raised tax, Bush who raised tax. I think Ronald Reagan raised tax like 11 times. And people still call him the greatest conservative president ever. These guys have never had small government, so small that they can sneak into other countries and buy drugs and put them in black neighborhoods.
Come on now.
And sell guns illegally. That ain't small. So they're so small they want to control who people love. Small. Right, so small that they want to control. They want to control every aspect of people's lives that are not their lives. Right.
Yep.
I don't know how you could make government small and still ban all Muslims. You need a large government to do that. So here's what I'm saying. I think these guys are just hypocritical anyway, and their form of politics has never been spoiled because it's white supremacy. And they just, right now, we just see it on fleek. The beauty and benefit of Donald Trump is he didn't make American racism. He didn't make America racist, right?
Facts.
He just gave them the power to take their hoods off. Like, so now they had a problem with putting on the COVID mask, but not a problem putting on the KKK mask. You know what I'm saying? So now Donald Trump has made them so bold that they can be as white or conservative, because to me, conservatism, the way it's played in America, is synonymous with white supremacy.
Yep.
Period. And anybody want to argue with that, we can definitely, that'd be a wonderful debate. But I go ahead, Ben.
I would say there is no debate about it, right? They can't at that point once you spit the truth to them, like you just did, Mundell, they get back into the corner where they ultimately just say they don't care. Then they don't care that what they believe is logically inconsistent. They don't care. That's the hypocrisy. They're gonna manipulate and they're gonna bend and break their own beliefs. They don't have any centralized beliefs. They'll break that shit apart all for expediency. They will look you in the eye and say, well, then I just don't give a damn. Let me be a hypocrite, because if my hypocrisy is what I need to get power, that's exactly what they're going to do. And that's what we see in Donald Trump's version of conservatism. But like you said, this has been conservatism the entire time.
I mean, moving on to tweet number 2, which is the irony that Mondale went into. I said yesterday, show me a single Republican that believes in BLM. Show me a single Republican that believes in equity in policing and racial justice. Show me a single Republican that believes that. Now, I'll wait for that. Now that we've thought about that, and we know that there's not any. Then, because if there was one, then you would have called out Donald Trump and called out any other of your counterparts that were saying that BLM were terrorists and that defunding the police is some socialist agenda, right? Okay, now since y'all didn't call that out, what Republican can Biden use in his administration?
None.
How can you pass a lift every voice plan for black people with the same people in the room that have never called out white supremacy? I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it, because you can't. Right. And I mean, this kumbaya with Ye, this kumbaya thing that we got going on with Republicans as Democrats, whenever Republicans get power, they don't do it. This kumbaya is so ridiculous and so backstabbing to the black community. It is. The little song and dance that we play, the signals that we're going to bring everybody to the table. I'm sorry if you've never called out racism before and you allowed your party to do what they've done to Latinx folks, Puerto Rican people, Cuban people, African American people, Mexican people. If you let them do that and you never said anything before, then what do you do? How do you belong in the White House? That's supposed to be,
Whoa, wait! How you belong in the White House that wouldn't be there without the black vote?
Right.
Like there would be no Joe Biden right now. There has never been a point where there could be a Democratic Party in power without the black vote in the history in the history of the party since 1964-65.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
Exactly. So, if we have some real questions to ask before we move back on to Georgia, and we have some real questions to ask about where these folks are and like how narratives get thrown upon our community and everything
narratives,
that we want.
My God, that boy said narratives. We got so many narratives to talk about. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, just narratives, man. Like, I mean, the narratives that are put in front of our community, the narratives that are put about our community. Somebody texted me this morning. They inboxed me on Twitter, and they were talking about a narrative about basically how much better black outreach was for Bernie this year than it was last time around. And man, I'm so happy I have this platform. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because one powerful thing that powerful white people do is powerful white people manage to do one amazing thing, and that is control narratives, and narratives especially about black people in general, right? And I'll just take a moment of personal pause and personal privilege to be like, there's no such thing as better black people, right? Like, there's no such thing as better black people, right? And at the end of the day, 2020 and 2016 yielded the same results, because at the end of the day, black folks weren't necessarily at the top of the table besides Nina Turner in that campaign. So I'm not hating on Bernie this morning. I'm just saying, like, every single time that this show comes on, a star in Vermont dies. A white consultant star burns out. Every single time that the show comes on, a white consultant star in Vermont Guys,
bro, y'all getting the it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Y'all getting the goddamn gospel truth.
So narratives. I'm super excited, like a kid that stayed up all night waiting on a field trip to talk about a sister who I love, Jamil, interview with Charlemagne, and talk about narratives, talking about black men, and when Marcus said, narratives one, but then also what they say about us. What they say about black men, man, in this country, especially as it pertains to politics and how it gets sold as factual, is so problematic. That interview, and this is not a knock on that sister, because I ride with that sister for most of the stuff she do.
It's about 80% of what for me. I
Yeah.
don't know what percentage.
Yeah, I think it's 79, 80. I mean, so she got to,
I'm at 82.
Oh,
yeah.
well, see, shit, dude.
Yeah, but I mean that's most of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But bruh, this is more than toxic. Charlemagne the God is now the political consultant you bring in to talk to about black men and why they vote. And everybody in the comments, I've read every one of those comments. You got black men and black women talking about black men. It's patriarchy. No, it ain't patriarchy. It's malarkey. It's fake. You guys are quoting an exit poll, which is notoriously bad for so many reasons. Yo, can we just agree traps to the Strap Squad? Whenever anyone tells you anything about 2020 poll results and how people voted, whether they're young voters, whether they're black voters, can you just shut them off or shut them down? If you're looking at them or you're commenting with them on social media, tell them they're lying, because exit polls are notoriously wrong.
Well,
Secondly, they're based on.
Mondale, I'm going to cut you off, but I used exit polls on yesterday talking about the black. We got to have logical. Damn, you just. So what about the exit polls that we like?
Nah, I listen. Here's the problem with exit polls. We are a video podcast intentionally, y'all. But just bear with us for a second. Ben, I just sent you a link. Can you share that link, and let's read. We're gonna read this article with y'all.
Oh boy,
it's a quick one. It's about a minute and 47-second read. It's in our text chat, brother.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me. Oh, there it is, because it did not want to pop up.
So let's read this first, then watch that video clip of the wonderful Charlemagne the God, black man political expert, saying dumb stuff that makes no sense.
Do me one favor. Send me that link again. No, you sent that. That's in this thread too, isn't it? There it is. We good to go. All right, I'm gonna pull this first article up from Vox, and Mondale, read it. Do your thing on it. The audience can see it in 3, 2, and 1.
The title of this article is "The Problem with Exit Polls Takes Explain." You know how the regular polls were wrong. Exit polls are much worse. Before the votes from 2020 presidential election have been fully tabulated, pundits across the land are venturing forth to analyze based on the demographic breakdowns provided in exit polls. If we're looking to reiterate our own prior convictions, the data is serviceable. But if we are actually information, or if we want actual information about voting behavior, exit polls are not useful. And the early exit polls that haven't even been weighted to the final vote count are even worse. To start with, as we all keep learning over and over again, it is difficult to conduct accurate surveys of voters' opinion. Nothing about conducting an accurate exit poll is any easier than conducting a pre-election poll. Actually, it's probably even harder, the report goes on to say. And it just goes on and on and on, tells you about like this poll that people are talking about, a CNN poll saying that it's going to change, which basically means you're looking at data that is not real. Because as votes come in, the numbers are going to change. Yeah, we got to cut it out. 19% of black men have not voted for Donald Trump.
But
Stop saying that.
Let's say it's 18, 17, 16, 15.
It's probably going to be 15.
But even still, with like the difference in the quality of black men doesn't change based on what percentage voted for Donald Trump.
Fact.
Right? Y'all not gonna cast aspersions on us because 15 or 20% of us voted for Donald Trump.
Right.
That don't listen. We fixated, and we're gonna play that clip. But have we fixated on the percentage of? And see,
Yep.
here's the thing, right? It is an easy tool to get us to have the gender wars, right?
Yes, it is.
Because it's
Yes,
an
it is.
easy way. Because my response to that would be, you don't see us fixating on whatever percentage of black women.
Hold on.
voted for him.
That same Ben, check this out. You ready? I'm gonna let you
Mm-hmm.
finish, but think about this, because what you just said is real. Black men don't sit around and say, "Did you know Donald Trump doubled?" The same exit poll said that Donald Trump doubled the
Right.
support for black women.
Right.
Double.
Exactly. So that's the narrative that we can take from that
Well,
and throw at y'all. But that instantly throws us into the black gender wars, which I got time.
I'm not going to get myself involved into black women, men, gender wars, and that's something that I choose to prefer on this show. This is I don't got no time for hoteps. I ain't got no time for she-teps. I ain't got no time for none of them. Right? Here's my thing. We got a white lady who is the head of the Democrats in D.C., Nancy Pelosi, but we don't give her heat for the horrible performance that Democrats
Come
do with
on,
white
man.
women.
Come on.
We don't
man.
give her no heat. No, somehow we managed to have whole ass articles about black men, but the top Democrat in Congress is a white woman.
Right.
And if I'm correct, most white women still, matter of fact, didn't Donald Trump increase his
Yeah. Oh my God! He increased the only demographic that he did not increase
Where are the
on.
think pieces on that, man? Where are the think pieces on Nancy Pelosi could not figure out how to make sure that the Democratic Party does better with white women?
Yeah.
Where's the think pieces, right? Like what happens is white supremacy, white privilege is so strong in this country that we literally have to find somebody other than white people to blame.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yep.
We have to. Even when I mean, listen, if black men were voting for Joe Biden voted for Donald Trump at 25%, that's still more impressive than any other demographic out there.
Because they don't expect us to have any real variation, right? They don't expect black men to actually have any. They want to view us through a singular lens, man. They want, and that lens is the worst lens of us. They want to be able to look at us and say, there's no variation
Critical thought.
Right. We are all either doing the same exact thing, or we're of no use to them.
Ben, Marcus, think about this. The idea that black men possess the ability to critically think or be different than other black men, right, puts to bed all of their narratives. It destroys white supremacy, really, if you think about it. The idea that black men can think freely says that black men also can't all be that thug that you're trying to paint on the TV. It also says that black men can't all be lazy or looking for a welfare queen. All of their myths go to bed when black men do something different than they think we are programmed to do. So here's what I'm telling people. Like, the idea that black men already vote more for their community than any other demographic of men. Actually, any other demographic in this country, with the exception of black women. Right? No other people care more about their community, and you can tell by their vote, than black men. Than black women.
But somehow we get scooted to the end of the line.
Oh, of course we do. You want to know? I mean, listen, they have, listen, when we talk about the gender wars that exist in black, when you hear like efforts to reach Latino and the Latinx community, it's not, this is a Latinx seat at the table for women. This isn't the Latinx men outreach. It's a Latinx community, right? And this is a community that don't vote the same. Latinx men vote more, right? Latinx men vote more like white men than Latinx women. I'm talking about significantly more like white men, right? But they don't even bother to degroup them or decouple them. Whereas with the black community, it's already a decoupling. I'm telling you, that to me, that decoupling of the black community is related to that idea of black on black crime. That myth is so pervasive in our community that you hear black people using it so much. Black, ain't no such
Yeah,
thing as black on. The people don't even understand that the black on black crime is a social critique of America's segregation.
right,
Period.
right. Hey, man,
And I mean, they ain't even thought about that.
we are in our bag this morning. Everybody is pulling out them choppers this morning. Without, I mean, listen, we just broke down for you the number one problem of white supremacy in this country. It is to alienate the strength of our solidarity. If they can alienate us, they can keep us from ever connect. And this is what it literally, like, if there's one thing about the so-called men and women, black men and women gender wars, if there's anything that I could see is absolutely true about it, even though I stay out of it, is the fact that it's a divide and conquer tool. It's one, number one thing is, like, we are not all a monolith. And so we do have people who disagree with us. And so we know we cannot have solidarity with Candace Owens just because she's black.
Facts.
Come on, what did you expect? But if you break us apart based on what we believe and on our genders, like who are they dividing here? They're not dividing black conservative men and black conservative women. They get to run around and be, ain't nobody really attacking that group. We just acknowledge that group. They use that group of black men who voted for Donald Trump not to attack them, but to attack us, the ones out here that's actually doing the work. So anyway.
Man, listen, I have my issue is this right here. Like, I think toxic white femininity is something that is not talked about enough. And I say it. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that black men don't have issues within their community. Because I think we do. I think there's
Everybody
a lot of I think there's a lot of critiques that we can make about black men in society, right? But it just seems like the most elevated problem is every single motion of what black men do, and nobody really, and these same folks really don't want to talk about the issues that bring black people to making the decisions that they make. Listen, we wouldn't be talking about defunding the police, as Ely Mistel said. We wouldn't be talking about defunding the police if something had been done a long time ago about police killing black people. That's not a conversation that's had during the defunding the police aspect. So if there's a national vote on defunding the police and black men vote at 15% for it and everybody else votes 15% against it, then
I'm sorry, you know how this goes. Somebody said, why Marcus look like Ice Cube? And the nigga, I looked at you, you look like Ice. That's why you defend that nigga so much, because y'all like y'all doppelgangers.
Yo, ugly ass Puma shirt, leave me alone. Fucking anorexic ass cat on this shit, talking noise.
You can't talk about the. I mean, I guess you can talk about the brand if you want to, but damn,
you know, you need to take that Puma off and put on the squirrel.
What is that? Well, no, you got a rabbit on yours. What is that? A rabbit with a pair of bones? What's that logo? So I don't even know. I'm poor. What brand is that? Because I could be asking, and it could be a really dope ass brand, and I don't even know.
It's not. I'm actually on the real, man. Like, your drobe game has stepped up so much, and I'm refused to be the person that actually brings you down from your hill right now, bro. Yesterday, my boy was going to Europe on their ass. So
No, man. I'm curious. What is that? Is that a brand I'm supposed? Because honestly, this is a lot of shit that I don't know. If it was over $59.99, it was outside of my experience.
This is psycho, bro.
Yeah, it's a popular brand for sure.
Oh, well, look at that. Oh, excuse me, let me put that down. Look at that shit. All right. Well, there you go. Everybody in the audience saying they know what it is. Well, this is things that poor people don't know. Okay, Marcus, Ice Cube, go ahead and finish up telling us what you were talking about.
We be clubbing.
Boy, you look just like that man. God.
Morning, okay. Right? Like the same beard and all that stuff. Except I don't have the full beard. I've been working on that. But Mondale is the one out of all of us that has the awesome full flushed beard. You two, you got
I got a junior
like
beard.
Ross you look like Rick Ross when you grow yours out.
But it just takes so damn long, man. It takes me 6 months to grow Rick Ross beard, and I know dudes who grow that in a weekend.
Why'd you cut it?
Because I wanted to even it out. I wanted to let it grow out evenly instead of
I got
somebody. I'm gonna take your money I born to dial, and I ain't putting that shit on the screen. Shit. telling me to shut up. This is my goddamn station.
Hey,
Marcus.
Hey,
Well, I'm talking to him, not y'all, obviously.
No, I mean, wow, right.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up again, the Republicans are flipping out right now across the nation as state after state gets recounted and state after state gets proven that Vice President-elect Joe Biden actually won the state. And yesterday, the Vice President-elect.
Marcus, you mind before we go in there, we play that clip with Jamil
you know what? I'm sorry, I had that on deck the whole time.
Because what you're talking about is a whole segment. It should be a whole segment anyway.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, go ahead. No, we'll get to it.
They trying to steal democracy right now.
All right, take a listen in to this. This is Jamel Hill talking with Charlamagne the God.
19% of black men voted for Donald Trump, which is up significantly from 2016, and that's the most for a Republican candidate in the exit poll since 1980. Why do you think so many, or this percentage of black men, were so responsive to Donald Trump?
I think it's a couple reasons. One simply is because they were marketed to. They were targeted. Trump ran ads aimed at young black men.
Why were they effective?
Well, if I didn't know any better, if I didn't know we had a fascist in the White House and democracy as we know it was on the brink of death, I may not have voted for Trump, but I certainly probably wouldn't have voted for Biden. We acting like Biden isn't a hard choice for a black person to make. When you think of the 86 crime bill or the 88 crack laws, the 94 crime
86.
bill, it's a lot of black
right.
people in jail because of Joe Biden. And, you compare his damn near 50 years in the Senate to Trump's 3 years president. If you're just looking at it on the surface, you would say, I'm not supporting that guy. I'm going to support the guy who's telling me in these ads he let people out of jail. Joe Biden locked people up.
Well, I mean, I don't think Charlamagne did too bad with it, but he didn't attack the framing of the question. He didn't attack the underlying insinuation that there is a problem with black men because 20% of us voted for Donald Trump, if it's that much.
Realistically, Charlamagne did a great job with that question, right? We do a lot of tearing down, and we've talked bad about people. Well, and one thing that I'm very happy, and I will just say, is that he handled that question well, except for tearing down the framing of it. But he handled that question well, because I know a lot of people who felt like that. Right? Not necessarily saying it's a factual thing, everything he just said, but I know a lot of black men who felt like that. So, we got to kind of.
I'm curious before you go, Mundell. Let me just ask this question of Zotar the Magnificent in the chat room says Charlamagne could have helped more, and I want you to follow up on that so we can understand the context. Go ahead, Mundell.
Charlamagne couldn't have helped more because he's too bad. He's on the Ice Cube thing, and on that he's trying to censor himself. When they call him and say, hey, we want to talk about politics, he should have been like, yo, there's some people that you should probably talk to that are better equipped to have this conversation. They're call somebody else. First of all, he said they were marketed to. We know ads don't move people in political campaigns. That's what I'm trying to tell people. We're not selling Nikes. We're talking about political campaigns. And what sell Nikes don't win people. That's one thing. Secondly, this is my flaw. This is my problem with his answer. And the question was trash off bat, right? The question was trash off bat. But the fact that okay. So he said, he implied that he knows something that most black men don't know, right? He centered himself in what he knows. His answer was, if I didn't know a fascist was in the White House or, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't vote. He implied that black men aren't living in America, basically. Like we don't know what's going on. Basically to say that black men are ignorant to politics in America. That is a misnomer that white people make all the time. That is a problem that people make with black people. That's that black men are apathetic to politics, when in actuality, we have a level of hate for politics, not apathy. And he played into that game very well with that response that black men are, oh, well, if I didn't know, I would vote for Trump too.
Right,
no, man, black men see what's going on. We are living under this president too. We just don't play politics the way y'all play politics. So that answer implies that the only reason he voted for Biden is because he's elevated in his thinking, right? That's the exceptionalist. I hate that. Just because brothers are on the corner or not into suits and ties, and they're not Booker or the people he chooses to bring on his show for interviews about politics, are ignorant to politics. We're not ignorant. There's not an apolitical black man in this country. So while some black men feel that Joe Biden was problematic because of his history, and that is true, it is not from the lack of not understanding what Donald Trump is. You know what I'm saying? It is more to the fact that black men don't care about the presidency because it's done nothing to better their lived experience in this country. So I hate the way that he answered it, because it was just an implication that he, with all of his science and brain, know more than most black men.
When it ain't all that. What he said, like
What
he said was an answer. Here's what they don't want us to have a conversation about, because the implications apply to every group. We got reactionaries in the black community. I mean, just at the end of the day, we got conservative thinking reactionaries who would align first with fascism than they would their own blackness. And we see it every day. I mean, we see it portrayed on, not even portrayed, like they're making big money doing it. The Candace Owens, what's the big dude from Kool-Aid ass looking dude from the network? Jason Whitlock. You got Jason Whitlock. You got Clarence Thomas. You got a list of people in the black community whose mindset is the same as these fascists. And we just don't want to talk about it. It's a small percentage, but the way they look at it, instead of viewing and saying, oh, look, in the black community, there's a smallest percentage of people who actually align with white supremacy. And then look at all the other communities and say, half your community, 55% of white women, 55% of white women align with white supremacy. And y'all want us to focus on the 20%, 18%, whatever it is, of black men who do? Get the hell out of here.
Well,
yo, shout out to Twitter. Twitter is jumping over there. I keep going and looking at how many people are watching. It went from 1,300 to 2,096. We love you, Twitter. Stay on Clickbaity. We love it. Share the show. Share the show. Yo,
it's like this. You know who's going to be a Georgia election expert, even though I'm down here talking to voters every day now? You know who's going to be a Georgia election expert? Andrew Yang. Right?
I saw that shit.
No. And I'm not dissing Brother Yang, but I'm just thinking about how narratives work, right?
Mm-hmm. And how money flows.
Yeah, so a celebrity or a politician will come down to Atlanta, Georgia, and all of a sudden, because here's the thing, he don't know the people that I know. Like I had to organize in this city and this state for a minute, and the reason why I bring that up in this conversation is it seemed like everybody gets asked questions about black men, like Mondale said, that just, I mean, we're not a monolith. We're not a monolith, man. We're not a monolith, and we're not a group of people who aren't interested in democracy and saving democracy. On the same token, like if over 50% of us voted against Donald, that's the number. That's the number. Check this out. That's the number. If over 50% of us voted against Donald Trump, then we helped save democracy.
Most black men voted against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
My point was this. If it takes 50 plus 1 to win an election,
yep.
If 50% of us voted for Joe Biden, if 50 plus 1 of us voted for Joe Biden, we did our job.
Yep.
See, here's
but it ain't
the thing,
good
Marcus.
enough.
Yeah, it ain't good enough. You know why, Ben? You know why, Marcus? Marcus is talking about what life should be like. But Democrats can't win with 50 plus 1% of the black community. And that's the story they don't want to tell you. That's the story they don't want to tell you, because their cousins are so flawed, and they know in a national election they gonna get less than 50 of their cousin in them, that they need to maximize us all the way to the black. So when we're not in their corners for 80, 90, 95%, then they gotta write articles about it. They gotta launch entire initiatives to address it.
Bro, look at that.
That's a flaw on their part.
But isn't that the epitome of white supremacy? Like that's literally this is the greatest example of white supremacy in the Democratic Party, because they want to penalize us for the smallest outlier variation from what they expect from us. They want to penalize black men because we have an outlier group. We got 15 to 20%, whatever it is, that 15 to 20% supported Donald Trump. That's an outlier in our community. But white supremacy in the Democratic Party wants to punish us for that little bit of outlier and ignore the fact that half of their cousins half of their sisters, somebody they go to bed with, voted for Donald Trump. They want to. Come on, man.
Hey, man, let me add on to that. I guarantee you 50 plus 1% of black people support reparations. I don't see thought pieces and articles coming out about that.
Come on.
Right? I guarantee you at least over 40%. We should get this poll done, but at least for over 40% of black people, if not 50%, support some defunding of the police. I know black people underneath the age of 30 do. So
I bet you, Marcus, if the question is worded properly and not no tricky questions, I bet you're right. It's more. It wouldn't even be under 30. It'd just be black people in general.
Right.
Because even the black people that say they want to be over police, or meaning they want more police, they're basically saying we want to be police like white people, which is basically defunding the police. Because white people defunded their police less than black folk. So you're right. I agree with you.
So I mean, the thing about it is the hypocrisy. Ooh, I'm so happy we have this. I'm so happy we have this show, because you wouldn't be here, America, Trap Squad, you would not be hearing this right here unless we
at
talk.
All.
Y'all wouldn't be hearing about it, man. Listen, if we because we have to fit into what white Democrats' narratives is. That's why James Clyburn is a shining star, because he'll hear this, he'll be like, well, yeah, we got to fix these Negroes.
Yeah. These are the dudes got to pull their pants up. These are the dudes who don't conform into their respectability politics.
And he'll be the same dude with the white intern with purple hair in his office with 27 piercings on their tongue. But okay.
But we the ones that's the problem, because we don't conform to your expectations.
But that intern is the wokest. The intern is the wokest person in the office. Don't get mad at that intern.
That white intern holding the office down. Right.
Yeah.
And she can tell us how to be a black man better than we know how to be a black man.
Congressman, I don't think you need to be saying that.
2020, bro. A
What's
white
that?
woman, listen, that happened in 20. How is this not as racist as that Walmart in Nevada that had clothes hanging by a neon rope that looked like people were hanging, and they said, oh, we're just trying to sell more clothes? How is what Ben said not as racist as that? A white woman in 2020 told a black man, I had to remind him he was black, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea Handler said it to 50 Cent. And then to make it worse, a major outlet ran it as a story like it's news instead of running it to shame her for being racist.
Right.
Like it's 2020, and you can get away with stuff. Yo, if a white man would have said he had to remind a black woman that she was black, yo, son, he would have been burned down.
Bro, if a black man, just say that again, because one more time.
All right, so Chelsea Handler told 50 Cent.
No. I got all that. That thing that you said at the end was, if a black man ever told a woman.
If a white man would have a white man that dated a black woman would have wrote an article saying that he had to remind her she was black, America would have burned down in 2020 in a different way.
Bro, flip it on his head too. If a black man told a white woman what to remind her how to be a woman, that would be in game. That would be over for our career. Like, that might be the one thing that I could say that would get me canceled from my own ass platform. But they have the right to fix their mouth and say it to us. And then they're celebrated for it.
And they have the right folks to push the narrative within the black community that makes it cool. Listen, man, you can't have your little secret meetings with white people, black people. You can't have your little secret meetings with white people and just to make sure that we fit your narrative. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of that. Can we get on the other news, man?
Marcus, hold on. Before we get on other news, Marcus talking about secret meetings. I had a call from somebody at Collective Pack yesterday. I told you after the lecture, I'm just telling the truth. And the brother was like, yo, some people got, the organization got a bad name. I said, y'all bad fucking neighbors. Sorry, I owed the family money.
I think
I told him, I said, yo, Collective Pack. And it was like, Collective Packs, y'all bad neighbors, bro. The way y'all show up is bad. It's bad. It's toxic. Y'all, sometimes y'all take credit for people's stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm trying to fix that. I'm like, I ain't sharing my plan with you. I don't do what you do, but I'm not sharing my work with you, because it's going to become your work as soon as you out of my corner. And straight like that.
I know that, bro.
People won't say this because it's hard to people want out of respect. I said, I don't got respect for situations where people aren't telling the truth about how y'all are stealing and messing up other stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, every time something pop up in a conversation, from now on, I'm letting everybody know who you really are. Not just Collective. I'm just talking about people in general, because what you're doing is trying to secure the bag at the expense of black people. And then I'm also being a co-conspirator in that when I don't call you out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I actually gotta make a disclaimer since the collective PAC endorsed my campaign for state representative when I ran.
In
So
Arizona,
did
right?
DFA. Yeah, in Arizona. So
Shout out to Arizona.
And I know who he's talking about. I don't know the gist of your conversation, but I actually can see how that's a thing, and I hope that situation gets rectified.
I mean, my conversation with him wasn't the prime, and I told him, and my conversation with you ain't the problem. I mean, bro, I got so many people. Because I ain't gonna steal the show and make it next. You know, I don't want to go negative. We got good energy right now. We're flowing through topics, but
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep dropping nuggets for the whole year. I don't care.
Hey, here's something we can all
Don't stop.
flex on for a second. RBR Networks. This is the guy who's been stalking me since I started
Oh, got
6
it.
years
Guy's
ago.
back?
Yeah, he's back. But I want to read what he said. He said, they need to give a real brother a wrench. I guess he means a chance, talking about him because I guess his name is Real Brother. So we need to give him a chance. He said that he was right and we Bernie bros were wrong. Why do you get to mislead? Oh, we're the misleadership class.
No. Let me get it. Can I?
Please help
Can
yourself.
Can I?
Yeah, help
All
yourself,
right.
man.
So, if you mean Bernie bros, you mean black people who supported Bernie, or do you mean white toxic people who went too hard for Bernie? There's two different kinds of Bernie bros. Because I'm a brother, and also, and what? So first, let's back up. Real brother.
Cornball ass name is that.
So, brother number one.
Hold on, boss. Hold on, player. Let me tell you something.
So, brother number one.
You about to piss off the 15% Irish in me. My 15% Irish more black than you is.
God damn.
You know why? Because I had the gall and the gumption to support a candidate like Bernie Sanders when you fall in line Negroes had to go with Hillary Clinton.
Come on, man.
You want to talk black? Let's talk black. Black is revolutionary. Now, I'm not sitting up here saying that Bernie Sanders is a revolutionary cat, but
He closer to a revolutionary than
I
the rest
supported
of them.
Bernie Sanders, who's
Shit.
revolutionary, who's black, who falls into the black ethos. I question that.
Keep
And I'm
going,
not
bro.
saying that every person who supported Hillary Clinton in the primary is a white man, but you got some goddamn gall and gumption to call yourself a real brother in comparison to the three Negroes you see on this show. Keep hate watching. Matter of fact, send another super chat.
Can we take your money?
We'll take your money and school you all day.
What kind of sadistic? What kind of bondage thing this man like to spend money? You spending money to let us know how miserable you are watching our show. God damn, son. Go crank that mic, man. We're gonna figure that thing out sooner or later.
I think when I stop talking, the mic go down. I like it, but
Yeah.
like I gotta fix that app. That problem is problematic. But listen, that bro wake up every morning to do this.
Every
He
morning.
troll you every. And did he troll you with money? Like
With
really?
money,
I mean, do you really believe people are gonna leave this show?
And come over there
They
to
might
you.
Google you and try to figure out who you are, bro. We literally we do this consistently, and I'm not saying we're the only people that talk about politics. I am gonna say that I am a political nerd. I don't see it on the internet. I don't see it on TV. What we're getting on TV is people on CNN trying to watch the show on MSNBC before their show come on, so they can twist those words and make it their talking points, and then vice versa. You ain't getting that over here, bro. Like, and also, those people are pundits that may have ran a campaign 12 years ago. I will tell you this: David Axelrod was not a genius. He was a white boy with a black candidate who won an election.
Right.
And we can talk about all of the stuff that happened. Barack Obama's election had a lot to do with the moment he found himself in. And Axelrod was not a genius, so but you know, he get credit for that. So it is what it is. I will say this: his political thought can't win an election right now. I don't care how many campaigns he run in Israel. I'm just telling you, y'all, you are listening to black political thought right now
Right.
for free.
Right.
And instead of you coming over here, real brother, soul brother number one,
Real brother.
Soul brother
can I go
number
again?
9.
instead of you coming over here,
Hang on.
coming over here bigging up the show, you come over here every other day like a bag toothache. You are an infection, bro, and we would remove you except for the dentist won't take it out. Why is it?
And he's paying for his own dragging. So, and somebody, this is what I want to say, Marcus, before you jump in there. No Middle Ground said that you misread that super chat, Ben. No, I know this cat. I know this stepping fetching ass coon ass nigga who think he the baddest thing on the side. He's the realest brother. I know that this man been stalking me since 2014, since like my third episode. And that clown honestly believes that if you were a black person who supported Hillary Clinton, that somehow you're more revolutionary than the black men who supported a socialist. Get the hell out of here. Go ahead, Marcus.
Let me tell you something. First, your person said, and I'm not trying to bring it up because I know it's years later, and I actually kind of forgive the woman because she was running against Donald Trump. But your candidate literally called your black ass a super predator, and you went trailing behind her, and you got the gall to talk noise about real brothers and Bernie people.
Well, his problem is he probably called brothers super predators.
Yeah.
He probably used that same language, and he's okay with it.
Mouth breathing.
So I
no, wait a minute. Wait, I got to breathe through my mouth at night, bro. Come on,
go ahead. I think the problem though is like, first of all, people pretend that elections outcomes determines what a victory is or not a victory, right? Like, so people will say that John Edwards lost in the primary and nothing came of his campaign. It was a failure, right? Yeah. But in actuality, we got Obamacare because of John Edwards. Mm-hmm. John Edwards, after he fell out when he was getting out of the race, in order to get his delegates, or for him to tell his delegates to support you as a candidate, you have to commit that you were going to fight for universal health care. Barack Obama made that commitment, and then we got in and we got Obamacare. It wasn't universal health care. So people don't know that. Like, elections aren't as cut and dry. This is what I'm trying to tell people about politics. It's not as cut and dry as an outcome of an election. That party has a role in who wins primaries, for sure. So voting is not the only thing that goes into who win primary. Faulty consultants and advice from consultants, all of that matters. So the fact that Hillary Clinton became the nominee for the Democratic Party isn't solely based on Bernie Sanders losing by himself. He had a role through his consultancy, but the party had a role in that as well. So, I mean, if you don't believe giving people questions for a debate matters, then why even do it then?
Because let me just add to what you're saying, right? It's not just, it isn't that Hillary won because everything that you said, but they want to look at it through this lens. They really want to look at it as if the only way that Bernie Sanders lost was because of his black problem, right? But then at the end of the day, it's still some truth to that. And so where they don't want to have any room as a black person to offer criticism to Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden, because if you offer criticism to Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, somehow to this select group of Negroes, you're not as authentically black as they are. And that registers in their mind as reasonable and rational, right? But here's the thing, Marcus. We actually look at our own candidate that we supported in the primary and have the most robust critique of him, right? We are very clear on what he did right and what he did wrong. And what he did particularly wrong was was in the black community, right? We can make that critique of our guy. You all cannot make that critique of your people without thinking that somehow you've lost a little bit of shine off your blackness.
Let me tell you something. As soon as I decided to write an article about Bernie's black problem, that's when them same Negroes like me the most. That's when, never said a word to me about, they never said anything about African Americans policy that Hillary Clinton actually, was a part of, or Joe Biden, right? Same kind of circle, right? But as soon as I said something bad about Bernie, and this wasn't bad, it was just a critique. That's when a lot of them, this Marcus guy's kind of cool.
Like they like us when we critique our side, but they can't handle it not a second when we critique their side.
There's no self-reflection in the party. I mean, and we know that. Look at the result of 2020. They are still trying to blame progressives for the losses that they took. We didn't take losses. Progressives that were elected, name one of the squad members that lost their re-election.
Come on.
It was these stale Democrats that lost re-election, right? And it's because they were not. We saw progressive matters all over the country pass ballot initiatives. We are already in Maricopa and then a couple in Pima County in Arizona. We already seeing all the charges for marijuana have been dropped because of the pass of 207. The DAs and the attorneys in those districts said we're not pressing these charges, we're not going forth with these cases, and anybody in jail is about to get set free. Right? Already, that's progressive politics. Now, who lost in Florida, in Arizona, were these stale Democrats,
milk toast ass.
Yeah. Actually, progressives gained seats. We beat two of their Democrats. They're still Democrats in the primary. Two dynasties lost to black vote.
Yeah.
Black progressives. So this idea that you can't even criticize your own folk, I'm talking about the inside of the establishment part of the party, resonates very well, not just with how y'all talk about or how y'all like Marcus after an article about Bernie, but how you show up in the world in general. And that's the tragedy. That's the tragedy of Clyburn's legacy outside of folk that are party or trying to replace him or trying to be the next shucking jive. I got a piece of information for you, RBR. Our good brother, one of our faithful top listeners on Facebook, Dame Dixon, said you should change your handle to Soul Bama #1.
Soul Bama #9. I love it. Monday, Marcus, you about to say something?
I mean,
over there,
I kind of wanted to get into Arizona for that specific reason.
Yeah.
I want to mention Arizona this morning because it's a place that I organized for years. And man, dude, come on, Arizona. Yeah, y'all did well.
Oh
Man, y'all did well at the top of the ticket, right? Y'all managed to get, Mark Kelly and Joe Biden across the finish line, and we're going to go into that in a second. But there are some disappointing losses that happened at the county level in Maricopa County that I want to look at Maricopa County voters.
Yeah.
And these same areas these same districts that y'all voted Joe Biden into, y'all allowed y'all local supervisor election and y'all local county recorder election. The person who counts the votes. Maricopa County, y'all let Adrian Fontes lose. Y'all let Whitney Walker lose, a black woman. It's starting to let me know that Arizona will go blue unless it is a certain kind of white person when it's a certain kind of white person that's running. And it is one of these states where if you're too progressive, obviously, they get turned off. But I'm going to give props to two things. I'm going to give props to Whitney Walker. Sister, I love you, and I know you watch this show almost every day, right? So when you watch it later on, because I know you catch it later on, I'm disappointed in how that race went down, and brother Adrian Fontes, I'm disappointed in how that race went down. Adrian Fontes counting the votes this time is the reason why Joe Biden won Arizona, because I can guarantee you this right here. They're going to do everything. The guy who's replacing Adrian Fontes is going to do everything in his power to make sure that Maricopa County never goes blue again.
Exactly. Y'all just put anyway.
So voting down ballot, voting down ticket is one of the most important things that you can possibly do. Now I want to talk about the Arizona vote. These Republicans are wigging out. Yesterday, pretty much confirmed in the state of Arizona that Joe Biden has taken the lead, not only taking the lead, but won the state of Arizona, and that's a really good thing. And these Republicans, I don't know if you brought the article up, but they requested the recount, and the Trump administration was trying its hardest to stop evidence, basically proving that nothing had went wrong. The stall tactic, the stalling from the Trump campaign, the whining from the Trump campaign, the empowering of conspiracy theories from the Trump campaign.
Yep. That
never happens when it's a Republican blowout. None of these same conversations happened in 2018, when Trump folks were doing well. I bring this up because they are having a collective meltdown in Trump world. And my personal opinion is this. They're doing this so they can create a destructive, negative universe for whoever for Joe Biden and for Democrats and for just negativity. And we're going to see negative channels. We're going to see negative rhetoric. We're going to see violence.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, we brought up the young brother who was killed in Louisiana, a possible lynching. We're going to see more and more of that because the Trump administration is going to burn everything down on his way out. So there's a clip that's on Twitter that I sent you
that Trump trucker, that guy in the truck.
I want you to bring that up on the screen and just let folks watch it if you can.
All right, I'm dropping here. Let's take a look at it.
Get the fuck out of here. You're 40.
You're just a kid. If you weren't a kid, you know what? I'm going to knock that phone out of your hand.
Are you mad? Your daddy didn't win. Are you mad?
Oh, just sit back and relax, you dumbass.
Bye.
Sit back and relax.
I am, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. I wish you were 18. I'd fucking remove your hand.
Bitch. I'm
Touch
19,
me.
bitch.
Touch me. Touch
no,
me.
Sweetheart.
Touch me.
You're not worth it.
Touch me.
You're not worth it.
Touch me.
You're not worth
Fucking
it, baby.
touch me.
You're not worth it, baby.
Touch me. Touch me. I dare you. I'll remove your
Look
fucking
at that.
head.
That's provoking.
Oh,
Look at
You know
that.
what? You're in my face. You're in my fucking face. You better
Yeah?
back off.
Yeah, okay.
Look at this little dyke.
Oh, I get more pussy than you, motherfucker. I get so much more pussy than you.
You know what? Put your fucking hand on me.
Did I?
Put your fucking hand on
He
me.
wants to fight a girl, a
Have another
woman.
one. Are you mad? Let's see your play real quick.
Yeah?
Yep.
Get behind it. Please, get behind it. Get behind it.
Wow.
Bye, baby.
You know what you need? You need to be removed from the gene pool because you're too fucking stupid to be alive.
Yeah?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
no hair, sweetie.
This
Oh, baby.
Touch me. Fucking touch me.
No.
Fucking
dude
touch me.
really want to fight her.
Touch me. Fucking touch me. Touch me. Come on. Come on, hard ass. Get that phone out of my fucking face. I'm
Bruh.
about this close. I'm about this
Back in
fucking
your
close.
trunk, bitch.
I'm
Get
about
back in
this
your fucking
close.
trunk. How old are you?
Hey, shut up.
You shut up.
Shut up.
Who's out here out of this fucking trunk?
Look at who's
Bye,
look at who
baby.
anger they
Bye, baby.
Look, and that lady coming up saying, "Oh no, man, you know, hush." And she didn't tell that white man to hush. She told the woman.
Hey, you have no hair, sweetie.
Yeah, she roasted his ass right there. That's why he got out that truck a second time. He was still that
Hey,
thing. It said on it. It took a couple of seconds for him to realize how bad she roasted him. That's when he got out the truck again. 30 seconds later, he said, "Holy shit, she just roasted my ass." And then he wanted to get out and fight. Go on, fight me.
Yo, the problem with what I just watched, the idiocracy. Like, he got out of his truck, came over there where she's playing her music.
Right.
You literally was driving, bro. You came turned in and said, "You're in my face." He said that to this woman as if we can't see what's happening on this video. You walked all the way across this grass,
To
the
her.
grassy knoll, to get in her face and then say, "Touch me, get out my face." If you were 18, she's like, "I'm 19." He's trembling at the lips, right? His lips were shaking, bro, because he wanted to hit her. The problem with all of this is indicative of white supremacy. The idea that all that space in between your truck where you should have been driving, minding your own business, all that space between your truck going at 30 or 40 miles an hour to all the way where she was is yours because you're white.
And bro, look at it. Like, extend that, right? At the end of the video, the woman who came up and told the young woman to hush. Right. These are these people who,
He
I'm
spit
not a
on her.
racist. I'm not a racist. But when you came up to that scene, what did you do? You genuflected before this white man's anger. You respected his anger and dismissed that young woman's. She wasn't even angry. She was just there standing her ground. That's exactly what America does all of the time. We're always afraid of these white conservative men's anger. And we're always telling everybody else, "No, you be quiet." Why are you so fearful of white men's anger? That shit ain't about nothing. Nobody give a shit he was mad.
White
Yeah,
man's
and sis she already read it. Like let me get. To me, that sounds like that's an assault charge almost, right? Like that's
right.
you attempted to hit her with that truck.
white man's
He's-
white men's
Well-
anger. White men's anger has been the I guess the antithesis of the problematic problems of America since the inception of this right here, and we're going to start seeing more and more of this as the realization that the white man's superhero that is Donald Trump. How
exactly
the white man's superhero that is Donald Trump. And by the way, I shouldn't have to explain this, but I had to explain it on Twitter but I had people coming at me on Twitter. Not all white people. Stop being ignorant. We're talking about just in general.
we're talking about the majority though.
We are
I mean,
talking about the
we're talking about the majority. It's based on how y'all vote.
A white man's angst is crazy and it's dangerous. And Ben, you mentioned stand your ground. And I want to just bring up one more thing before I kind of pass over the issues of the day. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis pushes an expansion of stand your ground law as a part of an anti-mob crackdown. That's right. Governor Florida Walmart.
Yeah. He does look like Governor Walmart.
Yeah, he does.
Bro looks like
Governor Walmart is basically making an anti-mob, and this is targeted at black protesters.
Absolutely.
Right? You gotta
It's
understand.
called mob. Of course it is.
Yeah,
Mob
you
and thug.
yeah.
You know what that is.
Florida is the state that allowed Zimmerman to kill Trayvon Martin and then use the stand your ground law, right? But yet Florida's the same state that did not allow Marissa Alexander to shoot a gun in the air.
Right.
For an abusive
For
spouse.
an abusive spouse to warn him to get away from me, and she got sentenced to 20 years in prison. Now follow me
20
now.
years.
She would have got sentenced to a lesser charge had she had a shot to do.
Right. Come on, man.
And Angela Corey, racist ass, that's why elections are important. Angela Corey, racist behind, decided that this was cool. But in here, so back to Florida again. Florida is not only not trying to just literally end, which they should be ending the stand your ground laws after so much drama happened, after so much money that the state of Florida has lost on stand your ground laws and lawsuits.
Oh man, but they'll spend their cash for white supremacy. If it costs them a fortune, they will spend that fortune just to maintain white supremacy.
Yeah, he is expanding it, and it allows for vigilantes to justify their actions, said Denise George, a former Miami-Dade county prosecutor who handled the stand your ground cases. It also allows for death to be the punishment for a property crime. And that is cruel and unusual punishment. We cannot live in a lawless society where taking a life is done so casually and recklessly.
So listen, Florida is a political result of Democrats making a lot of money, but don't give a damn about winning elections. And that's all I have to say about that. The consultant class down there makes a lot of money, and they like this idea that Florida is purple, even though it never goes statewide for Democrats.
Right.
And they continue to make a lot of money every election cycle. They're a swing state.
Because Florida, because I think
disgusting.
Because I think a good percentage, I mean, look at Florida, man, a good percentage of exactly what we're talking about, right? That level of white supremacy that is protected, that is respected, that is, they actually give a damn more about some bumpkin ass Florida man's anger than they do all of the people who are actually doing things to make this country, like we in this country, the entire business model of this country is to bow down before the anger of incompetent white men. At the expense of all these dope ass people out here doing dope ass thing to change the world for better. Y'all still are letting us have to genuflect and bow before the anger of incompetent, mediocre ass white men.
Speaking of mediocre white men, go ahead, Marcus.
No, and I just, Florida's my home state. I started my political career in the state of Florida. I like to bring this up a lot to kind of prove what Mondale's saying. Florida is just particularly problematic when it comes down to they got Stephen Patel as the chair of Florida. I'm gonna call out names. he was a former chair of the Democratic Party of Florida. And really the only reason that Stephen Patel was the chair, got chosen as the chair, because he was he was a billionaire from Miami and had no real plan for the party, right? Just wanted to support the party and get the party to do the things that he wanted to do. I've been working in that state so long that I realized early on that when Black consultants created a pathway to victory for the city of Jacksonville, the city of Duval County in 2011, we had to find outside funding. Our candidate had to find outside funding outside of the state of Florida, basically, because the white consultants and the Democratic Party, instead of supporting the Black Democrat that was running for mayor in Jacksonville, they supported a white moderate. That's right. The Democratic Party supported a white Republican moderate over the Black Democrat in 2011. Wow.
I forgot all about that. I was actually in Jacksonville at that. Pretty sure I was in Jacksonville at that time.
Her name was. She's a nice lady. Her name was Audrey. I forgot Audrey's last name.
I got to ask you to repeat that, because it really is the Democratic Party in Florida in general, or was it the Democratic Party in Jacksonville?
No. The Democratic Party in Florida, the Florida
the whole
Democratic
ass
Party.
thing.
Listen, the Florida Democratic Party supported the white moderate Republican in the primary election over the Black male Democrat that was running.
Jesus Christ,
mayor.
bro.
The Black male Democrat that was a Clinton staffer.
Jesus.
I mean,
Christ.
we shouldn't be surprised by that, because the Florida Democratic Party and the money supported a white moderate woman against Andrew Gillum in the primary. The Florida money, the political money in Florida, the white money, the white donor table gave Andrew nothing in the primary. Wow. They literally, his money was being raised outside of the state, because in 2018, nobody on the ballot was more progressive. Running for governor was more progressive than Andrew Gillum. But I would be remiss if I didn't say this right here. There is right now, states across the nation are voting for new chairs of the Democratic Party. They're voting for the reorgs are going on right now in the Democratic parties, right? So if you were a Democrat in these states all across the nation, and you have been active in the party and you are eligible to run for chair, if you're eligible to run for vice chair, if you're eligible to be on these state boards, here's your opportunity to actually run good campaigns within the Democratic Party to actually change things. I do think that we are one presidential cycle away from actually having a more progressive down ballot Democratic Party in these states, right? Yeah. Because they're still hanger-oners, and Biden's victory didn't do nothing but empower very old establishment Democrats to just hang on one more thread. But get involved in the party if you want to do so, because right now, and right now parties across the nation have a great opportunity, especially Florida. Florida has one brother that I don't know if I can even announce it yet, but he's a very progressive guy, and he's running for chair of the party. Arizona has a sister, Sarah Tyree, who ran for state senate. This is a black woman that's running for chair of this state party in Arizona right now. These are people that can actually galvanize and help focus some of the energy on people of color, which is a thing that, for some strange reason, the Democratic Party still has a problem with.
Bruh,
in 2020.
It is our experience, man. Just being black in America is itself revolutionary, and I don't mean in the sense of it is true that we're revolutionary in the lines of Kwame Ture and our legacy, but we're revolutionary simply because of where we have to fight from. Everything that we have to fight is basically paving the way for what we need to survive. And this is what I'm saying. It's a little abstract, but check me out, man. Being a black person in America means that you got to fight the racism from the left as well as the right, from the right as well as the left, from the people that you coexist with and campaign with and organize with, along with the people who would destroy us. And so we find ourselves not in a position where we can't benefit from either side's bullshit. If we let our guards down, the Democratic Party will do shit to us like they did to Alvin Brown in Jacksonville?
Yeah, but Alvin won anyway. Bro, let me say, y'all better listen to black folks, because our fight really defines what y'all need to survive y'all own ignorance. I'm gonna pass it on to Mondale, but I want to say one more thing. How these people treat black folks when they push against commercials.
Ugh, come
Oh
on,
my
man.
God! Almost every campaign that I've been a part of at a high level, except for Stacey Abrams and Rob Consalvo in Chicago. I mean, in Boston. But almost every campaign that I've been on at a high level, I've had to get into a fight with a white consultant about where the money goes. Almost every campaign is so normalized that I expect, like, I go into the first couple of meetings with boxing gloves on. When my first couple of meetings with consultants, I go into them with boxing gloves because that's when they decide what happens with the budget. I go in with these meetings on the Alvin Brown campaign. They looked at me and Angie Nixon and Tom Bacote like they tried to throw us under the bus and say that we were, and of course this worked back then and it still works a little bit now. They said we were rowdy and wild and hard to work with. That's how they do us, right? Whenever we disagree with anything,
because we're inconvenient.
You're hard to work with. They're hard to work. We're hard to work with because we don't want to give you all the budget.
Mm-hmm. We're hard to work with because we say we don't want you to kill us.
But we're hard to work with. If you notice something, we're hard to work with in every aspect of society. If you have a wide receiver who asks for more money, he's hard to work with.
He's uppity,
right? Dak Prescott, you remember? They were calling Dak Prescott hard to work with because he was holding out. And guess what happened with Dak Prescott? He ended up breaking his ankle and he's not going to be able to play for the rest of the year. We're always hard to work with. We become hard to work with when, if we're in a law firm and we're asking for promotion.
You know why that is? That's because we are naturally a threat to their power. And anytime we make a move, the slightest move that is a threat to their power, then they can either push us right back into the little category that they say, the Jim Clyburn category. When you're not really a threat to their power, they love you. They elevate you. You that man, you get on TV every single day talking about protecting the very thing that we need to fight against for our survival. So they love the Jim Clyburns. But when those of us who actually speak truth to power get in their ranks, then they got to put us back in place by saying you're difficult to work. Oh, why are you an angry black man? Why are you an angry black woman? I got a couple of clips that we locked back behind on, but go ahead. Are we moving on to another topic?
No, I think Brother Mondale, I think you probably have some experience with that last conversation.
I think you guys are spot on and did a great job. I just get tired of talking about white consultants, and by white consultants I mean the black ones that act like them too.
Bro, this conversation is so fucking dope.
When y'all were talking about it, I literally went to my mind went to a black space. I was on a call yesterday with a bunch of white folk talking about national organizations, talking about what they're going to do in Georgia and what they did in Georgia. And one of the white women on the call had the audacity to say that. She sent a text message to young black men, and that's why we increased participation. And I'm like, I almost threw up. Like, you son of a mother, what? Like, really? Like, and the problem is, like, both of the C4, 501c4 table and the 501c3 table in Georgia are led by black folk from that state, and neither one of them were on this call. So I was super disgusted that all of these organizations are sitting around plotting about what they're going to do in Georgia and what they did in Georgia and how they're responsible for it. And there was some Negroes on that call sharing, this is what I did. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're doing any of that, and I literally, when it came to Black Male Voters Project, tell us what you did and what you're going to do. I said, I don't want to talk about my work. I want to talk about the fact that it's 250 plus people on this call, and ain't none of y'all talking to Leslie and Tamika.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about how the fact that y'all are planning about how you're going to divide up that state. And it's just, it felt yucky to me, especially since I had just got off the call and Leslie had a plan for what we were going to do in Georgia going forward to win this election cycle. And a lot of thought has went into it. So national organizations, man, the idea, because you get to sit in front of the media or you get to control the narrative, and everybody on the call was saying the same thing. We want to thank Stacey Abrams for her leadership, blah, blah, blah. We know she's responsible for this. Okay, yeah, Stacey deserves credit for the voter suppression work that they do at Fair Fight and all the other stuff that they've done in that state of Georgia. It is also illogical to believe that all of the organizations doing wonderful work right now, continued work to educate and engage
and turnout black voters don't deserve credit. And I think what happens is when it's so easy just to say one name and move on, it gives so much space for all these other organizations, because in their mind they think, oh, well, I'm a white person, so I definitely know how to go help Stacey Abrams. I can go down there and help Stacey Abrams. But you can go down there and get in the way of so many other organizations that are doing wonderful work that you guys are not responsible for. You guys being John Ossoff's campaign, Warnock's campaign. Speaking of Warnock, we're gonna play that ad. Hopefully, all of this, like all of, and this is not a knock on y'all. The knock is that y'all buy into this idea that these consultants that you keep listening to are responsible for voter turnout, and they're not. Like, they've been doing the same thing ever, and they lose over and over and over again with those tactics. Those tactics are not responsible for Georgia being blue. If it was, then Georgia would have been blue.
Right.
Been blue.
Right.
Y'all need to give credit. If you care about winning, put your ego aside and say, look, we ain't responsible for this. Let's make sure we support. If you really want the Senate, the way to winning the Senate is not giving that money to those candidates.
Right.
It's not. It's giving that money to those organizations. Cliff, with Black Voter Matters, Rep Georgia, all of the orgs on the ground that are doing crazy work in Georgia, that should be supported. And I'm talking about not because you saw them in BuzzFeed or some national newspaper. They should be supported because they're really doing the work. I will promise you this. In the black community, my dad used to tell me this all the time. The best dressed Negro probably broke. Let me translate that to you in politics. The best covered Negro probably too busy getting articles about them to be doing the work.
That's the fact. That is facts. Let me know when you want to come back up. But here's one thing that I just want to add one little detail. Here's the other reason they like to give all the credit to one black person, right? And this, what I'm getting ready to say is, don't take this as a knock to Stacey Abrams, because what Stacey Abrams did was dope. But by them giving the credit to one black person, that leaves the lane open for all. You don't crowd up the power. You don't crowd up the money with too many black folks. You can't afford to have as many. You can't afford to have as many dope black people in your space as there exist dope black people, because if we come in your space, we gonna edge you out. You going out the door. Our work is better. Our work is just definitively, we work harder. We got in this political space. Y'all don't know what you doing compared to these black folks out here who have had a bob and weave around every systemic racism, every capitalistic injustice, everything that we've had to survive gives us a unique edge in this political space that you cannot afford to let more than one black person come into.
So what you're talking about is the bilingual, like the effect of speaking more than one language. We know, let me explain it to people. Give me a second, y'all. I'm on my country boy story thing. When you speak more than one language, countries where people speak more than one language tend to be smarter people, like the brain, like the way they relate, with the way you relate to people, your social skills, all of that, like, right, goes into speaking more than one language. That's not to say that everybody that speaks more than one language is smarter than everybody. So what Ben is saying, translate to politics, what Ben is saying is black people are bilingual in politics. We have to speak if we are trying to be successful and lift our community up. We have to speak black politics and also white politics so as to survive. Because we speak both of those languages, we are better at what we're doing. And also we have to add the fact that I know for a fact there are donors that tell me, like they when they ask me about my program, I'm like, how you gonna do this? They question every aspect of my campaign, whereas my white counterparts just get checks because they're getting checks. So like there's no critique. I mean, I literally had a person tell me like, oh yeah, the same donor that funded me had asked me a bunch of questions, told them, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, like, don't worry about reports or nothing at the end. Just spend the money.
Bro, I love that. I love that. Real quick, Marcus, because I don't want to lose this because my brain is not functioning. But I love that comparison that you use, that bilingual thing, right? Can you imagine? I can't imagine like how dope your brain must be to be able to speak multiple languages and not really know which language you're dreaming in. And you're like, it just, your brain is wired differently. Black folks in politics in the year of our Lord 2020, in this place, in America, on this planet, with the history of black people on this planet, man, we speak damn near 10 languages politically.
Man.
Right. Our synapses are firing at every and then of course you have those of us who I don't think they dumb it down. I think they just choose to weaponize that dope brain for white supremacy because it pays a bigger check. Like Candace Owens is a smart ass individual. She knew exactly what she needed to do to go and rise to the top of white supremacy and secure the bag, right? Yep. So I think they just use those same powers for evil. But we have had to, because of our existence and our place in this society and breaking free from that place, we've had to speak 12 different political languages.
Yeah, I was going to say, and for anybody to think that we're criticizing Candace Owens, and I just want to say this because I heard somebody say this to me before about the fact that maybe she's just conservative and she believed that there's no racism. I would go along with that, except for history is real,
right? And
it's well known that this is easy, y'all. This is easy. This ain't even deep research. She literally sued an elected official that most people probably know from Connecticut, his nephew, for him and his white friends racially discriminated against her in high school and won 2 lawsuits against the state of Connecticut. So this is easy, y'all. Like she literally has 2 lawsuits on the book against white racism. Like, so the idea that it doesn't exist is a calculated thought. So this is what Ben is talking about, and this is why she deserved to be drugged. Like when you say that white supremacy isn't a real thing, and you actually are the benefactor of lawsuits against white supremacy,
right? It's
saying how you're using your genius for evilness.
And she's actively accepting the benefits of white supremacy. She said white supremacy ain't real. It's paying her goddamn checks.
Every however often she gets them.
Yeah, that's right. Listen,
go ahead, man.
That bilingual thing, Mondale is so on the money with it. Not to even beat a dead horse, but Mr. S is gonna take this one. If without knowing how to. Let me do it like this. I'm gonna go deeper. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper, not to overextend Mondale's point, but basically, if you have a young white campaign manager for any campaign, the checks and balances that person will have to go through is going to be a lot less than if you have a young black person who's the campaign manager of a campaign. Matter of fact, if you're a black campaign manager on any campaign, and I know that you are always at risk. You are. There's never a comfortable moment where, even if your candidate is a black candidate, because there is somebody in this ear from the state party or from a county party that's like, well, does this person know what they're doing? And that code switching that Mondale, that bilingualness that Mondale was talking about is so real, because if they even see you talk real to your canvassers, they start questioning whether you can handle yourself in front of them.
Because it's intimidating to them, bro. What you just said, when you shine in your blackness doing your thing, it is automatically intimidating to them because they can't do it. I'm sorry, Marcus, keep going.
No, that was it. I just agree. I agree with both of your points. I just wanted to, Mondale was hit it spot on. Like he hit, because so look at what it's happened so much to me, man. Like it's happened so much to me as a person who has worked in politics in different positions. And that's why I do give Stacey props, because she let me shine in my blackness. And that's one thing that I love about working on her campaign.
I want to extend the metaphor one little bit further. Because check me out, man. Marcus, you just said that a white person on a campaign in American politics in 2020 doesn't face the threat of always being let go because of their identity. Black folks working on those campaigns are, the moment our blackness shines, it becomes a threat to that campaign. And we're not talking about Republicans, we're talking about Democrats, right? But check this out. What do they continue to do over and over and over again because they are afraid of our blackness and they don't want to listen to our blackness? They don't want to listen to our bilingualness, our ability to talk to all the communities. They stay using a character and a persona and an identity that they are comfortable with at the expense of actually winning. They would rather lose than to listen to black folks, man. They would rather lose and protect that white person, that white consultant that they could only speak to one community, but that's the community they're comfortable with. And you bring in a black consultant that can speak to all of them, but they would rather lose because we intimidate them.
Listen, I'm going to say something, and it might not sound like it's related. And it may sound sexist. But I'm gonna need y'all to roll with me for a second.
All right, we walking a tightrope.
We gonna try.
Tightrope. Here we go.
I mean, when I say y'all, I'm talking about Trap Squad because I don't need y'all to get canceled because of my crazy analysis.
All right.
The way America play politics around black people, showing in the way black and specifically for my experience, black men, is the same thing I hear when I hear about this black man privilege that gives us a upper hand over white women, right? I don't know that privilege. I hear of it. I don't know of it. Like that is the furthering of making black men invisible. And when people buy into the idea that black men have a privilege that puts them higher than white women in this country.
Yeah.
It's beyond dangerous. It's beyond dangerous to acknowledge in political space, Marcus and Ben, y'all know this, to acknowledge that some stuff is going awry on a campaign because of your blackness. You know this, like, right? Like when you say, let me say it plain. When you say, yo, what y'all doing to Andrew Gillum primary is racist, right? What y'all doing to, this is in Virginia, what y'all doing to Fairfax is racist. Let me give you an example. In the primary for Fairfax, right? There's this one family, a husband and wife, who supported both Democratic candidates, one each. The husband gave money to one of the Democratic candidates that was running for governor, right? And the wife gave one to the other one. They spent $900,000. This one family, one of them gave $450,000 to Northam, one of them gave $500,000 to Perello. These guys are running against each other. They sent a check to Fairfax in the after the primary and said, for $5,000, and said, don't ask us for no money unless you're willing to say you're not going to challenge Herron for governor after this in 2021. So if people don't believe that's racism in a state where where you can give unlimited amount of money to people, that is a lack of understanding what's going on in Virginia. Virginia is a southern state, y'all. Meaning, if you think about the black bodies in the southern part of their state that don't vote because they're not excited about candidates, they knew that if Fairfax, this is before all of this scandal stuff, had put his name on that record for governor, because he's the only second black to be elected statewide in that state, right? And he was a lieutenant governor, so they already knew he was set to be governor in this state before all the craziness happened. So they know all those black people down south would have lined up behind him, and their boy couldn't win. So they were already telling him, like, if you want this money, you better say that you're not gonna run in 2021.
Wow.
That is the lack of speaking
Jesus
two
Christ.
languages. That is the lack of speaking two languages. Now, him being honorable told them, you keep your money. Me, on the other hand, would have been like, send
Take the money and still do
and
it.
then called them out as soon as the money was in the bank account.
Yeah.
Do you know they did this, and this to me? So I'm telling y'all, like, it is life and death for black politicians and also those of us that do the work. And sometimes, as is the case in both of these, black people have a role in it.
Bruh, like
Black people
it is one, don't we got to remind to tell Mundell about Mama Squirrel from yesterday, so I don't want to forget that. But there is we don't, as black men, we do not have the opportunity to ever in this society, like we do it within ourselves, but in American society, we don't have a single opportunity to not be viewed as the villain at some point. Like, it's everybody has us listed as a villain in some form or fashion. This is not to be like a woe is me and the oppression Olympics. No, it's to say that we have to come out swinging on every single one of those issues just to prove our humanity. Right? We got to shrink inside of an elevator because a white woman clutches her purse. Same time, we have to address the issues that we have going on within our own community. So we don't have a chance to relax and just be like, oh, this is our safe space, because we got to be held responsible in terms of the relationship that we have within and our position and proximity to power in the black community. So we don't relax there. White men, we've been having to go up against them since time immemorial. So it's like at every level we have had to fight, because at every level there's somebody who's looking at us through the lens of if we're the bad guy, and we're constantly letting them know, proving our humanity to these clowns.
Man, white women had black men lynched, knowing that they were their lovers.
knowing they've let white men kill their sons, knowing that it was their son, right? Lovers being lynched because you want to protect your whiteness. And I ain't talking about during slavery. Let me give you a prime example. In Georgia, a few years ago, a young brother who was about to go to the NFL, dating a white girl, her dad came upstairs and said, "You will say he raped you." That brother got locked up 10 some years in prison, and then she finally admitted that she lied. And she just get to walk away, continue her life. No, like, that should be punishment for her and her father because she was a minor at the time. But she knew that I mean, like, man.
Yeah.
Let me just.
Hey, I'm gonna lighten it up. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna lighten it up real quick, Mondale.
What you got, man?
Brother Mondale, let me tell you something. Let me teach you about somebody that's very important to the Trap Squad.
To the show.
We now have Mondale. We now have an official Mama Squirrel. Mama Squirrel came on here. Her name is Deborah, right? Deborah.
Stephanie.
That's Stephanie. I'm sorry, I'm saying Deborah. Stephanie.
But we know Mama Squirrel for sure.
But Mama Squirrel is a name. Mama Squirrel gave us $500 in the super chat yesterday.
Hey, what?
Yeah, hey, I want everybody to hear your response. Mama Squirrel gave us $500 in the super chat yesterday.
Bro,
so before we go
500.
too far, I just want to let you know something. Ben planning on holding that money.
We already know that.
Yeah,
Bro,
we
that's because
already know
I gotta have enough money to figure out what the hell logo that is with the rabbit and the bones. Like I don't know nothing, so I'm gonna keep that and go buy me one so I can learn about it.
Hey,
That's psycho money, boy.
psycho money, man.
It's gonna cost that much. But listen, shout out to Mama Squirrel. What's her name?
Mama Squirrel.
Stephanie.
Stephanie showed up yesterday and gave us a $500 super chat, and we haven't had our commercial break, but that does lead me into wanting to lighten the load, and hope you guys are enjoying today's Friday episode of Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap.
Yeah.
You know, we like to pass the plate around a little bit just to make sure that we're doing and going the right direction. So if you want to support us, make sure you check us out on Patreon or drop some super chats or just send us some acorns, man. You know how we do it. We like support too. We like to love. We like everything that is about the Trap Squad, the Squirrel Gang. And I mean, if you want to become grandma or cousin, cousin
like. Right. What I mean, I don't know. See, I was getting ready to say like we want some equivalent to Mama Squirrel, but then that would be Daddy Squirrel, and I don't know. We're not going. Oh yeah.
No, ain't no Daddy Squirrels happening here.
Hold on.
No, ain't no Daddy Squirrels happening here.
We are children of single mother squirrels.
There you go. The white
Daddy's
supremacy
absent.
replicating itself in our metaphors for this show. God damn it, we can't get away from that shit.
Absent.
Bro, we can't get away from that. That thing just replicated itself in our goddamn metaphor. We are single parent squirrels. All right, find me on Twitter with my.
Y'all didn't know Mama Squirrel Shirley was a welfare queen.
Damn.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about? Hey, some of Mama
She's still a nurse from Marcus. She's still a nurse from Colombia.
Bruh. But she in line. She in line with the damn food stamps with shrimp and lobster, bruh. That's how bad that thing replicated
If y'all are
itself.
missing these jokes, we are talking about Ronald Reagan's administration.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. We this show just went meta is on y'all motherfuckers. Yeah. And the really only way you understand what the hell we're talking about is if you have that shared experience.
Yeah.
Right? If you have that shared experience, you know exactly what the hell we just got through doing. Find me on Twitter at Benjamin. Go ahead, man.
Wait a minute. So that means that there's acorn queens.
And we're begging y'all for y'all acorns. So give us, put us up on welfare. So we ain't got to have no connection to this society no more. We ain't got to work with for none of these. Okay, I'm gonna stop that word. So anyway, find me on Twitter at Benjamin P. Dixon. We can get away with a lot, but I think I almost slid into some. Go ahead, Marcus. Where they find you?
Marcus for America on Instagram.
There's just a certain side of blackness we can't get away with in front of y'all. So go ahead, Marcus.
Marcus for America, Instagram, Twitter, Old Man Politic on Twitch, and Marcus Farrell on Facebook.
And I am Mondale Robinson everywhere.
And also, you can find Black Male Voters Project everywhere, even apparently on a page that Andrew Yang and Martin Luther King III launched without talking to me about the picture I want to be used. So whatever, we'll talk about that later.
They got
too.
a picture of you. They got a picture of
They
you on
launched.
their website.
They launched the effort talking about winbothseats.org.
And they got your picture up there.
They put my logo, my org logo. They put a bunch of logos from Georgia, from orgs that they said they vetted, 16 organizations they said they vetted that are doing great work, and they should support. And I'm thinking to myself,
you didn't talk to me.
I guess my question is, like, here, I'm gonna go back to it again, right? Like, so since I registered, I helped register close to 400,000 people in the state of Georgia, right? Ain't nobody talked to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be funny or be selfish about this, but just follow what I'm saying to you. I done organized from Savannah to Thomasville to Albany to Atlanta to Gwinnett County, Fulton County. I'm a Fulton County voter, and I'm not sitting up here saying that I'm the man, but just follow what I'm saying to you. Who y'all is? How you vet anybody?
How you doing? How you in the position to do the vetting?
They probably called the IRS and they saw some organizations. They probably talked to some donors, and the IRS said the status is good, the designation is good. The donors probably said this is what their report says, they're good, and also let's check in with Stacey Abrams to make sure they're good.
Yep. They do the basic checklist that they can do, the most basic checklist. But I want to know, how are they in the positions in society to do the vetting? Because they clearly don't know what the hell they're doing. So why do they get to be in the position of authority and power to be able to choose these
blue-checked individuals? You know how this country is about blue-checked individuals. I mean, LeBron James can launch one of the largest voting apparatuses in the country just because he's LeBron James, and he gets with who? Yeah. Wall Street and Cory Booker folk, which are probably the same people, to do the work, right? So I mean, think about that. I mean, in what society other than ours, in what community other than ours, do athletes? Listen, what's Yao Ming is not a successful politician in China. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Malcolm. Come on, Malcolm.
The ballet, those wonderful ballet artists and dancers from Russia are not successful politicians in Russia.
Hey,
wait a minute, though. But Manny Pacquiao. I'm just being cross to be cross.
I like it. I like it. Listen, Manny Pacquiao is a senator in the Philippines, where the president called Barack Obama what? Exactly. You remember the president of Philippines?
I forgot. What was Duarte, right?
Yeah, Duarte. He was Donald Trump. In the Philippines.
And the murderers.
Killing drug dealers.
Drug dealers.
Killing not just drug dealers, fam. They over there killing drug users.
Bro.
They are killing drug user. Duarte. I can't remember his first name, but I don't know if that's something. God damn. That's one thing real quick before I introduce us to Auntie Squirrel. We got an Auntie Squirrel in the chat room today, and I didn't miss it, and I'm gonna mention in a second. But I just want to say never mind. Forget it. Let's go right to her because my brain just skipped the beat. Angel. Somebody pronounce that name. Angelique. Angel. I'm gonna call you Angel. Angel Washington, because I'm struggling with that name, just sent in a $50 super chat saying, keep doing what you're doing, black men. We need these discussions. We need your voices. Well, we appreciate you, Cousin Squirrel. We appreciate that donation.
Thank you. Thank you, Cousin Squirrel. That right there makes sense, but just make sure that you being accountable for making sure that we all get our just due. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Ben got all them acorns stuffed in his little cheeks.
Boy, I'm storing up for the winter, bro. Yeah, I'm hiding them motherfuckers for winter, boy, because I expect at some point, at any point in this journey, I expect America's white supremacy and capitalism come to snatch this away. You know what I mean? I expect that. I feel I have a terror over my back at all points, at all times, that something in this system is going to just snatch away the little modicum of, because that's been my experience. That's been my reality.
Experience. That's been Black America.
I don't feel like
America's experience.
Black America's experience is if we get too far ahead, this system will overcompensate and snatch everything back. And what you think this last, man, I could tie anything to anything. What you think this entire presidency of Donald Trump has been about? there is some credence. Like, I didn't got a whole lot of love for Barack Obama, but there's some credence to what that man said about Donald Trump and this country, that it was a reaction. What we've seen over the last 4 years was a reaction to a black person occupying that White House. Now, trust me, I got plenty of criticism of American empire that was led by Barack Obama, American capitalism that was led by Barack Obama, but you can't tell me that we are not sitting here in the backlash of having a black president, all because we were black. And the little gains that we got in this country, y'all lose y'all goddamn mind and ready to burn the whole goddamn country down to the ground because you just can't stand the idea of going back in that direction.
Yeah.
Listen,
Go ahead, Mondo.
Go ahead, Marcus.
I was just thinking, especially a show like this, especially a network that you have, especially across our platforms. I don't know if you watch Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap, but we're not what you get on mainstream media. Right. Yeah. I don't know if you watch Ben's channel, but with these, I can see why you would be afraid. Hell, speaking truth has always been ostracized, especially when it comes down to the African American community. But normally it would be white power structures that didn't mess with black people trying to tear you down. Now it's your own people within their own party and who's supposed to be allies with you, who, if you don't speak the correct way, if you don't speak the adequate white way or the adequate moderate way, that they're trying to tear you down. So
can you say what you said again at the very beginning? You described it as the reason they're afraid of us. Say, I don't know if you can recall it.
I don't remember.
Man,
I don't remember nothing I say on this show. I have to watch the show 3 times after
just
I
to
watch
get everything we say.
Yeah, just to understand what I said. Like, so yeah, I
somebody in the chat
actually
room
watch this show. Like, people are watching this show in our chat rooms right now.
Right.
I have no idea what we said.
Yeah.
So
but I know it's the truth. That was the goddamn truth. Somebody in the chat room rewind just a couple seconds and tell me what Marcus said, because he described their way, the reason that they fear us. He described it. He used a metaphor that I think was so spot on. And then I just wanted to throw in the second one we've been using today. Another reason they fear us is because the synapses that are firing in our heads as a result of all the different languages that we have to speak just to survive as black people in this country makes us like we sharpshooters, man. We don't miss. And we may not even remember what the hell we just said, but what we just said is dope enough to change this country.
I didn't lie. I know that.
You ain't lie.
Even though I didn't remember it. I didn't lie. Go ahead, Mondale. I cut you off, bro.
It's all good. I was just gonna say, like this show is in the vein, or in the long history of black radio shows that told the truth, outside of mainstream media. A lot of people. I was gonna talk about Bob Williams, is what he called himself, and Radio Free Dixie, and that program that he launched in North Carolina. Well, I mean, on the radios in North Carolina, back in the early '60s. To tell the truth, like in the face of all of that, like, the possibilities of what could have happened to him. And when the Klan came burning torches in his yard, he pulled out a gun and started shooting. And when America tried to shut him down, he found refuge in Cuba, where he ran that radio show well into like later in life. So I say all that to say that, the benefit of us being on the internet is this program can't be shut down by white media. And when they try, there's another username that will pop up, and it still will be Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap.
But here's the thing, bro. If they try, it actually just blows us up even more.
I want them to try.
This is what the best thing that they could do for black men is ignore us. Because if they attack us, we rise, right? If they challenge us, we rise. If the media came after us, man, the blowback of them coming after us, especially because people would tune in and be like, this is one of the dopest and the most brilliant shows on the face of the goddamn planet. Well, then they have made us their enemies even that much more, man. They would have elevated us so much more, they couldn't stop us.
Hey, man, you do realize that I've said all kinds of fiery stuff about the Sanders campaign and people around him. Now, and again, you know what? And anyway, it doesn't really matter. I do want to say something about Bernie that I haven't said, but I promise you I won't say it on the show. But I've said some fiery stuff about the Sanders campaign and people around him. And you know the reason why they haven't came back at me? Because they don't want to elevate me or this voice anymore, number one. And number two, what I'm saying is true.
Yeah.
Right? I want to I actually want to do something cool, though, just to lighten the mood for my Bernie supporters who still like the old man, and I still like the old man in different ways. I want to tell a quick story about Bernie Sanders. In 2016, we were headed to the National SCLC conference. I had set him up with, and that's the Southern Christian Leadership conference, right? And I set him up with all the major pastors, and he had a meeting. He came to speak to the heads of the SCLC, and we were and this was in Louisiana, and we were driving past a bridge, and Bernie taps me and he says, you see that bridge right there? And I said, yeah, I see that bridge. He was like, that's the Huey P. Long Bridge. Now, I'm a history guy, but my history on Huey P. Long was really nothing. So I said, he said, you know who Huey P. Long is? I said, no, I know who Huey P. Newton is.
Exactly.
And he was like, yeah, no. Huey P. Newton was named after Huey P. Long. Right. And I was like, so Bernie starts to schooling me. So as much as I drag him, I'm going to tell you what he said. He said, my politics is a more intersectional version of Huey P. Long. I like to think of myself in the light of Huey P. Long. So here I am on my phone Googling Huey P. Long. and he literally just goes into a diatribe about how white Huey P. Long and black Huey P. Newton, their politics were kind of back and forth and the same thing. And he's schooling everybody on the bus. So as much as I talk crap about Bernie, because I talk a lot of crap about Bernie knows his stuff about black history. Bernie knows his stuff about like progressive history, whether he wants to enact it or not. That's the problem. Little something.
We always get those moments where everybody just pauses and reflects. We always have. Sometimes the dead air on here ain't that we don't know where to go next. Sometimes it's just sit still and think about what you just heard. Let's flip it. I want to play this commercial from Raphael Warnock. This is the one I saw last night, and it stopped me in my tracks because I was like, it caught my attention. But it caught my attention because of some corny stuff, right? And I'm corny at the core, like I'm a dad joke kind of dude. That said, I want to know from you, the audience, is this a one white consultant video? Is it a 2 white consultant video, or does it get 3 white consultants? Right? 3 white consultants means that it is going to help this man lose because they don't want to listen to another strategy. Jesus, who got a motorcycle?
Man, you know how it is over here. We just let that go.
So you be the judge. Is it a good commercial, meaning it's only 1 white consultant was involved, or is it a horrible commercial, meaning 3 white consultants were involved? Let's look.
Raphael Warnock eats pizza with a fork and knife. Raphael Warnock once stepped on a crack in the sidewalk. Raphael Warnock even hates puppies.
Get ready, Georgia. The negative ads are coming. Kelly Loeffler doesn't want to talk about why she's for getting rid of health care in the middle of a pandemic, so she's going to try and scare you with lies about me. I'm Raphael Warnock, and I approve this message because I'm staying focused on what Washington could do for you. And by the way, I love puppies.
Give y'all a second to let that last few seconds come through. How many white consultants was that, fellas? Was that 1, meaning it wasn't too bad? Was it 3, meaning holy shit, how many white folks had their hands on this? White Democratic consultants had their hand on this. I got in the audience a couple people saying three consultants. What y'all think? What, Marcus Mundell?
20 million. The whole party.
Your mic is down just a little, but we heard you. Somebody said it's a 4 or 5. You said it's all the white consultants were on that, huh? Oh man, your mic is off. Marcus, go real quick. How many white consultants you give it?
The whole party.
Oh, there it is. All right. Mundell is back. Go for it, man.
The whole thing.
You see, so that's not going to resonate with black people in Georgia?
At the Waffle House?
After the party, they coming out of Magic City. Going to the Waffle House, and they see this commercial. You mean that ain't going to resonate with them?
Right. No.
All right,
No,
Marcus.
not at all.
Your go, Marcus.
Yeah, that was 4 white consultants. I mean, if the parameter was 3, that was 4. And I mean, they tried to be cute, right? But see, here's the thing. That's what we mean about like knowing that there's real black consultants there, and then white people who are trying to cute their way into blackness.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, Warnock's going to run a better campaign than Ossoff. We know that, just because of the people that immediately surrounding him. But yeah, that was kind of.
That was a lot of people. A couple of people said, "I love that." I saw the commercial and I loved it. That must mean I'm cool. Yeah, you know, I honestly, I'm like, oh, that's. It caught my attention, but like I said, full disclosure, I got that entire cornball side ass to me.
Then real quick, I know Mondale has to wrap, but I do want to do this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, we are at 728 likes on YouTube, and we are only at
damn.
I don't even know how many likes we are on Facebook, but let's pause for the cause real quick. Go ahead, get our likes up. We can.
Well, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I didn't even realize we are 2 hours in we are at that mark anyway. Because if we keep running our mouth, we go into 3 hours, so we might as well prepare to
break
Jesus
it
Christ.
down.
I didn't know what that was, bro. I thought it was I got a thunderstorm.
Go.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Who wants the last word, man?
Mondale.
I love y'all.
That's the last word. Hey, we'll see everybody Monday. Take care, fam.